All right, so I am back down at the Rails for Trails. If you've been on the channel recently, you probably recognize the parking lot. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my Garmin kind of fired up here because sometimes it takes a little while for it to connect to the satellite. So I'm gonna get that kind of started. All right, today I'm gonna be going for about an hour out on my workout today. I got a pretty eclectic gear on. So for shoes, I'm running in the ASICS Gel Kayano 32s today, and that's because I want to do some comparisons with this shoe and the Hurricane 25 and even the Hoka Gaviota 5, and I might throw in the Hoka Arahi 8 as well, because I've got about the same number of miles on those shoes. So none of them are jacked up to 100 miles yet, but because I'm wearing different shoes on different days, it's taken a while for me to get enough miles in them for me to be able to talk about them intelligently with all of you. So probably be around 30 miles in each of the different shoes at least, except for the Gaviota 5, which has a whole lot more than that because I've owned them a lot longer. All right, so got the ASICS Gel Kayano 32s on my feet. I'm wearing some New Balance half tights. These are from the New York City Marathon that I ran. Love these. They are really comfortable, and they could be a good contender to wear on marathon day. Even though they've got the New York City logo on the side of it, I'm not opposed to wearing these in Chicago because they are pretty comfortable. The other pair of half tights that I like to wear is the Rabbit half tights. And the reason I wear half tights is because I film. and what I mean by that is because I'm filming, I need to be able to carry my GoPro with me. And just a regular pair of shorts, they're too loose. And the GoPro, if I have it in my pockets, just flops around all over the place, and that's really distracting, so I don't like that. Half tights are tight, and so I can secure my GoPro and anything else that I want in my pockets there. So that's why I wear half tights primarily for the marathons. But the other thing is they're super comfortable. They're really, really comfortable. Anyway, I got an Adidas run shirt on today. I absolutely love the Adidas run shirt. This one is super comfortable, really, really cool on a day like today. Although today isn't terrible. We've had some days that's been 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and it felt a whole lot hotter than that. But today I'm starting out around 71 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's going to be another really nice workout before it gets too hot later this afternoon. That's why I'm out here early. I love to run early anyway. Let's see what else. I got my Nathan hydration vest on. Absolutely love this one. It's got an insulated bladder, so it keeps my water nice and cool out on the workout. At least cooler longer than other ones that aren't necessarily insulated. And then I believe I have an Adidas run hat on. So hopefully that's what I'm wearing. Okay, so, and then of course I train with my Garmin Phoenix 6. So that's the gear that I'm working with today. And I'm gonna run about an hour, so I'll run about 30 minutes in one direction, turn around and run 30 minutes back, because this is basically just an out and back. All right, I guess that's good for the intro. I'm gonna get into this workout, and we're gonna chit chat a little bit along the way. And some of the things I wanted to talk about today is how I'm continuing to stay consistent training while watching my granddaughter. I know many of you have young kids at home, and consistency is tough when you're watching little ones, because that's your priority. Your kids are your priority, and they should be. That's where your priority should lie. But doesn't mean you need to give up your life. And if you like to run and train and do marathons or other races like I like to do, finding ways to be consistent while watching my granddaughter, I'm going to share a few of those tips with you. A few of those tips as we run along today. All right, enough about all that. I'm gonna get into this workout. And so for the workout itself, because I am training myself, I'm not necessarily just making these up off the top of my head. It's based on my experience in running other marathons. And I know from previous training blocks that if I want to do well and be prepared to run 26.2 miles, which is really hard, by the way, if you're not a marathon runner, especially get into that mile 20. Oh my gosh, talk to anybody that's ever run a marathon before. Mile 20 is the breaking point for many of us. But anyway, so I run on average about 39 to 40 miles a week, maybe just slightly less than that. Might be 37, somewhere around there. But that's the average over the course of 16 weeks. It'll get up to about 600 miles total for a training block. And if I run 600 miles during this next 16 weeks, I'm not too concerned about the overall pace, but if I put in the miles, I should be ready to go on marathon race day. So just to give you some idea, that's what I typically like to do when it comes to my training blocks. All right, so for today, I'm gonna go out for, like I said, an hour. I'm gonna pick up the pace in probably 10-minute segments. So it'll be somewhat of an interval run, but not overly done, because I am taking it a little easier this time around. But I do plan to pick up the pace for about 10 minutes at a time. I'll probably do that 3 different times. So it'll be 30 minutes of moderately hard running today. All right. Woo, this intro is getting really, really long, so I apologize for that, you guys. All right, let's get into this workout, and we'll chit-chat a little bit more along the way. All right, let's do this thing. All right, so let's talk about some of the ways that you can train for a marathon while watching a young child at home. Whether you're a grandparent like I am and watching a grandchild, or maybe you're a new parent. And if you are, congratulations, you're in for a hell of a ride, that's for sure. I have 2 kids of my own, and they're grown adults now with their own families, and I could not be more proud of them both. Anyway, so to stay consistent, there's some things that are really important. Number 1 is you really can't skimp or skip things like your warm-up and cool down. They're super important because there is a, I don't know, desire maybe, or a tendency to want to skip, especially like your warm-up, because you see an opportunity to go out and run, so you take it, but without having the opportunity ahead of time to warm up properly. So don't do that. Don't do that. I have run into that myself, where, you know, my granddaughter might take a nap, maybe not during her normal nap time, so I wasn't expecting it, and I might want to try to get out for a run then, but that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing, because you can run the risk of injury that way. So my suggestion is to stay loose and ready, and the way you can do that is, you know, through play. My granddaughter's 11 months old, and she loves to play on her play mat with all of her toys, all that kind of thing, and I'm right down there on the play mat with her. But what I'm doing is I'm also stretching. I'm doing a lot of dynamic stretches, and she just loves it. She loves it. And a lot of times she's copying me. Oh, and it's so much fun. Like, I have this smaller foam roller that I take to races with me, and I'll let her use that one, and she just thinks that's the coolest thing. Sometimes she just sits on it, but other times she's crawling over the top of it, and she's trying to do what Papa's doing. In the meantime, I'm rolling out, and I'm staying loose, so that if she were to fall asleep unexpectedly, I'll be ready to go. I'll be ready to go. So that's number 1. Stay loose if you can. Number 2 is, you know, embrace those naps. You might not be able to get a full workout in. You know, if you have a treadmill, obviously, you're not going to leave home and leave your child unattended. But what I do is I set up a baby monitor so I can see her at all times. And I'm in the garage, which is, you know, 10 feet away. So if she wakes up, I'll know, and I can just go in and attend to her needs. Now that means that sometimes I don't always get a full workout in, at least not at that time. That's okay. That's okay. because every run, every minute you're running, that all counts. That all counts to helping you get stronger and to prepare and to be consistent. And if you have to break it up into a couple different workouts that day, maybe between a morning run and an afternoon run that coincides with her nap time or his nap time, that's all right. That's one way to do it. So, and that's kind of brings me to another point, is you need to kind of forget about running the perfect training block. You know, so if you're a marathon runner or just a runner and you're used to having your time to yourself and now you don't, sadly those days are gone. Sorry. But what you can do is to take it when you can. So, you know, keep loose, stay loose, and embrace the workouts when you can get them in. And just know that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to run a perfect training block. I have yet to run a perfect training block. And still, I've run fast enough times that, you know, I qualified and ran all 3 of the U.S. World Major Marathons here. So it can be done. It can be done even if you're not perfect. Morning. All right, so that first interval is done. I'm gonna run 2 more of those. In the meantime, I'm taking a 2-minute rest break to kind of catch my breath, recover a little bit, and now I'll get back into it. The Cam 32s, you know, they continue to do a great job. You know, they're smooth. I still feel like, you know, maybe I'm landing a little flat, but that could be me. You know, that could be my foot strike today. But I am rolling through my gait just fine. It's not as, I don't know, maybe a pronounced roll through as I get with the Hurricane 25s or even the Arahi 8s. Those are a really terrific shoes as well. I'm excited to tell you a lot more about those probably next couple of days. All right. I'm gonna take a few extra seconds and then get into this next one. So, another tip to try to be consistent while watching an infant at home or young child is to embrace the stroller. Right, so if you don't have a jogging stroller, I highly suggest you get one. You can probably find one used, pretty reasonably priced. I use a Bob stroller. My granddaughter loves it. It reclines, so it's kind of like a hammock for her. And I take her out as often as I can, right around the time that she's ready to take a nap. So I know jogging with a stroller is hard, but it can be done. I see it done all the time at 5K races and so on. And a lot of those people are passing me along the race course. But you don't necessarily have to jog in order to get some miles in. I oftentimes just walk at a brisk pace, and my granddaughter's naps are about an hour. So, you know, I can get an extra, you know, 3 to 5 miles in during her nap time. It's a great way to keep the legs turning over and to stay consistent. If you guys have some tips that you want to share about how you get things done while caring for a small child, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I'd be interested. I know a lot of others would be too. All right. So this workout has come to an end. Oh, felt pretty good today, honestly. I think the weather had a lot to do with it just because it's cooler. As I stop my watch, kind of scrolling through here, it does say that the training effect was VO2 max, and that's what I was kind of shooting for. So maintaining as a status, 7.74 miles is what I went. 8 35-minute mile pace, 1 hour, 6 minutes, 24 seconds on today's workout. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed some of the baby tips. I'm sure there's a lot more that's out there. Definitely, you know, probably the most obvious is if you have, you know, another mom, dad, or grandpa that you trust, where, you know, if they're a runner or they have hobbies that they want to do, maybe you could trade time. But what's most important, I think, is that you schedule your workouts and you stick to them, and you just find a way. You know, you just find a way to get it done. And sometimes you got to be creative. You know, like I said the other day, you know, my granddaughter took a nap around 10 a.m., which she normally does. So I set up the baby monitor and I went out and ran on my treadmill and watched her the entire time. And you know, she was in a pack and play. You know, she's 11 months old, so she wasn't going to go anywhere, but I felt better knowing that I could see her at all times and I was just a few steps away. So, you know, that's just one of the ways that you can try to get it done and still care for your loved ones. So anyway, I enjoyed the workout today. I enjoyed bringing you guys along with me. Some of you have asked how I'm getting the drone footage or what drone I'm using. So I have two drones. One is kind of that higher end drone, although it's a number of years old now. It's the DJI Mavic Pro, and you can probably find them used on sale, pretty reasonably priced. But I think, you know, when I bought mine, it was really expensive. You know, it's like, if I remember, it was like $1,500 or $1,800. I don't know, way too much money. But that's really not the one I'm using most of the time. Now, that's great if it's really high wind conditions, or I have a lot of filming that I want to do, or if I want to get drone footage of my car or something like that. I mean, it has a 3-mile range and it has good battery life, so it is a good drone. It's just more complicated to use because I got to carry my controller. I use my cell phone as part of the controller, as the screen, and you know, that kind of stuff. So I don't like using it. It's too much. It's too cumbersome. So I bought the DJI Neo, and I'm going to grab it out of the front seat of my car to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. And the reason I like this drone so much is I don't have to use a controller. You can use a controller. You can use your phone as a controller, or you can buy a specific controller for this. But look how tiny this thing is. It's pretty lightweight. I throw it in my backpack, and it's got a lot of presets, and that's why I bought it. I like the preset functions that it has, or actions. So it has follow me, so any of the drone footage you see from behind me, that's from this. Really, all of the drone footage that you've seen recently has all come from this little guy here. Flight time isn't terrific. You know, the battery life's about, realistically, it's about 10 or 12 minutes. They say 15, but I don't know that I've gotten 15 minutes out of it. But I have 2 batteries. And one of the things you'll note, though, is that the storage capacity, there's no SD card in this at all. So the storage capacity of it isn't great either. You can only get about 15 minutes of footage or so, and then it's full. So I take my cell phone with me in case I exceed that, because I can download the footage pretty quickly to my cell phone, clear it, and then I'm good to go again. But that's, you know, that's a downside, where the Mavic Pro has an SD card and you can pretty much record all day long. You can record as much as you want to, basically, as much as that card will hold. So but I love the presets. It's got follow me mode and spotlight mode and direction track. I don't know what else, you know, droney, I guess they call it. So those shots where it might be taking off and coming back, and rocket, which goes straight up over your head. So you've seen all of those shots at different points in time from different videos. So, but this is the little guy, DJI Neo, and the other thing that I absolutely love about it is the cost. You know, it's about $200, I think, is what I paid for it. You might be able to find it on sale somewhere, but this thing is well worth it if you're a content creator like I am, because I don't have to, like I said, I don't have to have any controllers, and it's pretty darn durable. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a bunch of grass stains in there, and I've crashed this thing so many times, and other than getting a little nervous that I couldn't find it when I crashed it necessarily high up in a tree or a bush, because it gets lost pretty quick. So a lot of my drone footage now I keep low to the ground, and that's to keep out of the wind, so I get a steadier shot, because it doesn't do terrific in wind at all. And I figure if I hit something, if I hit a leaf or a branch or something like that, that it's lower to the ground and it's not going to get caught up high in the tree where I have to climb it like I did the other day out at the state park, which was terrible because I cut up my hand and all kinds of business. So most of my drone footage, they consider that to be far away, and right now it's low. I do like it high and medium. I prefer those shots, but safety, you know, I don't want to lose it. So anyway, I spent a lot of time at the end of this talking about the DJI Neo, but and I don't have any affiliation with them. I just happen to really like it, and I think if you're a content creator, this might be a good tool in your toolbox. And the other really cool thing, and then I'm going to stop talking about it, and I don't use this often, but I think I might start using it, is it has a vlog mode. So they're kind of noisy. These things are a bit noisy. They have that high whirly sound, but you can block that out. So you can use your cell phone and you can record. You can talk into your cell phone, or if you have a mic or something like that, a wireless mic or whatever, you can use that too. But you can vlog with this thing. You can have it out in front of you. You can be looking at the camera and talking into your phone, and it eliminates that whirring sound. So I need to get better at that. I've done it once or twice is all, but I think that could be a really fun shot to have to make these videos a bit more interesting for all of you guys. I could see me using it when I'm out walking my granddaughter on the stroller. I could have it out in front of us, and I could be talking to you guys at the same time about various stuff, whatever you guys want to talk about. So, oh, and one last thing before I let you go, and this video is getting really long, so I hope that you've got a good cup of coffee or something like that you're having, or maybe you're watching us while you have some breakfast or whatnot. But I've got the Brooks Hyperion Max 3 coming to the channel. So I did a survey the other day, and you know, a number of you responded, so I really appreciate it. The top 2 shoes out of the 4 was the Hyperion Max, and then the other one was the Hurricane 25. So I've been talking about the Hurricane 25. I got a lot more to talk about with that shoe as well, but I've got the Hyperion Max coming. Got it coming, so we're going to do that one on the channel here real soon. All right, you guys, that is it. That is it. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but probably a lot longer than I intended, but that's okay. I enjoy spending time with you guys, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.